Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I'd like to offer the Elemental Rune reading for the week of April 5th through the 11th of 2026. This is a general reading, so take what works for you, leave the rest for someone else. If you've never had your charts read, there is a link in the description. It's a sponsored link to a natal interpretation chart by Llewellyn. It gives you your base 12 houses, all little signs and symbols, and then 10 to 20 pages telling you what all that means, because there's a lot there. But the rest of the links are for affiliate links for Amazon and stuff. So if you're interested in different products, there are some links down there so you can get started on your own rune journey. And today is on the traditional calendar, or on the main calendar, the holiday of Easter. So happy and blessed Easter to everyone. And we'll get started with the element of fire. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And fire, you are starting off with the Iawaz rune, which is the rune of the horse. Color is white. Terra association is the lovers, and astrology is Gemini. It's a little air, water joining in here. Travel and change, a new job, new home, spiritual journeys, or movement. So fire, this is really just a good indicator that things are going to be shifting around this week. This is not a week of stagnancy, which is good because fire doesn't like to sit still. So there's things that are shifting and changing, and if you're not in a situation where it's physically moving around or possibly getting into a different apartment, housing situation, look to your dreams, see if there's something new that's coming up with your spiritual life, because there's a shift that is being called forward here, and that shift is going to respond however it shows up for you. But what I'm hearing with this one is this is going to be a good week for shifting and movement. If it's not a physical move, then maybe look within and see what's going on in there, because the universe is working on something for you. Your second rune is the Jira rune, or the rune of the year. Color is light blue. Terra association is the Fool, and astrology is Earth. Signifies the cycles of nature and life, something coming to fruition, effort receiving its rewards. So there's two different energies here. One is a new beginning, that's that Fool energy, but you also are coming to the end of a cycle, and I feel like that is where you're getting into this shift energy. So something is ending because something new is beginning. And so you've got this energy of a transition period going on this week, and it may not be massive. It might be really simple, like, oh, so that's coming to an end, so what's my next project? So there may be some overlap going on here, and I'm feeling with the energy of the lovers and with Earth coming in as well, where we have this thing to do with home and the family. So it could be a new foundation with Earth. It could be a situation improving with a spouse or a hopefully future partner. So fire, you've got a lot of really good energy going on here, but it's definitely a movement happening. You're very active, your energy is very active, and the things around you are calling you to basically be ready for the shift and be open to it, because it's not a matter of, well, I'm going to plan this out. I'm getting the impression here that there's been some things already at play, and this is where the action starts to formulate into the physical world for you. So that could be interesting. Let's take a peek at our Earth family, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you are Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have Earth high up in your chart, then this one is for you. We're starting you off with the, let me turn my page back here, it's the Rado rune, which is the rune of a long journey on horseback. Color is bright red. Terra association is the Hierophant, and astrology is Sagittarius. So fire and Earth look like they're going to be having some cooperation this week, which is awesome. It indicates a physical journey, pleasant ones, journeys that bring positive development, and it could be a spiritual journey. So Earth and fire, you're both are getting this call to something is moving. With Earth, though, with this Rado rune, we have the Hierophant, which is also known as the High Priest. He is a teacher, he is a leader in his own right, which for Earth is impressive. So you have this energy with Sagittarius also, which is the completion of the fire cycle. So there's this energy that's coming in that's calling for changes, shifts, and alignments. It could be if you are someone who has fire Earth high in your charts, or if you are a fire partner and an Earth partner working together. This is going to be a pretty prosperous week for from what I'm seeing so far. We'll call it that. Your next rune, that's an interesting combo we got going on here, is the Isa rune for Earth, and it is the rune of ice. Color is black. Tarot association is the Hermit, which is another version of the Hierophant, really. And astrology is the moon. It denotes an obstacle, coldness between people, a time to observe, keep silent, refraining from comment. Hey, I'm having one of those days. So what we're seeing here is there's this movement that's occurring, but there may be a little bit of resistance going on. And that's where we have to be open to a compromise, Earth. That's what I'm hearing with this, is things are going well. Things are going to go really well. You've got Rado over here saying, it's time for some movement, stuff's happening, you're working with your fire energy, but you also have this call for some alone time, some introspection, and this could be a spiritual side of things where, yes, the outside world is moving, but personally you need to go inside and do some quieting, some double checking, see what's going on here. But in reality, neither one of these runes with this combination are a negative. Rado is really positive. Isa is more, don't make rash decisions. Make sure you're thinking things through. Make sure you are going inside. And that's where that Hermit energy comes forward for that one, is when the Hermit shows up, it's usually a call to step away. Something is going on. There's maybe some heightened emotions, especially if you happen to be working with a fire element. So you stepping back is good to help you reground so that you can deal with what's going on. And it also helps stabilize that fire energy as well. So Earth, you kind of have a little bit more responsibility this week than normal, but it's for a good reason. Like, there's a lot going on and you just need that extra reminder to take the time to settle down when you need it. So let's hop over to our air family. Air covers the zodiac signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or have air high in your chart, this one is for you. And we have get the right page, Thurizaz, which is the god of strength. Color is bright red. Tarot association is the Emperor. Astrology is Mars. So air, you're working with Earth as well, or with fire as well. So there's an interesting dynamic going on this week. Protection, someone providing help, and good news coming in. You are strong enough to handle any challenge. Air, that is the first thing I'm hearing. You're also dealing with this Emperor energy, which is a bit more masculine, a bit more projective, and Mars, which everyone associates Mars with war, but Mars also is the symbol of male perfection. So it's this energy of I can defend, I can protect, I can provide. So those are your primary energies that are coming in this week for air, and it doesn't matter what your gender is, this is the energy that's supporting you and being offered to you. Because when we really understand what it means to step into our power, masculine or feminine, it means you're taking the perfected aspects of that. You're not trying to denounce it, you're not trying to make it something else, you're accepting it where it is, and then allowing it to influence and lead you forward. So that protective, that projective, that defensive, but also a provider energy is really going to be strong for air this week. And I'm hearing that this is something that you want to do for someone else, like you want to help protect or provide or something for another person. It could be that if you work with animals, it could be that you're wanting to foster that dog or cat to keep it safe and protected. There's a lot of ways this could be showing up, but that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling here. So our second rune is the Iawaz. There's so many of these are similar. Rune, which is the rune of the yew tree. Color is dark blue. Tarot association is the Hanged Man, and astrology is Scorpio. So you're definitely working with water this week as well. So air, you're being called to balance some extremes, because with the Thurizaz, you're dealing with the divine masculine and fire, but with this rune, Iawaz, you're dealing with more of the feminine aspect. Although Scorpio is the fire of water, the Hanged Man is generally associated with like a Pisces type energy. So you're definitely dealing with water and fire, which require you to balance them. Protection at time of death and rebirth, foresight and perseverance. This is one rune where, for the most part, it is about positive aspects of existence. And when you have Iawaz coming in with Thurizaz, we have this energy that is calling you to step into authority, step into your power, your ability to project. You are here to protect something. You are here to provide for something. There is a period of death and rebirth, meaning something may be having to come to a close, and while something else is happening new, those transition periods can be really super rough, Air. But that's what you're being called to stabilize. Yes, this is going on around you, but you're the balancing factor. So if you've ever had to be around, and I'm going to use this one because it's the one that's most fresh to me as well, someone who's passed. Not like you don't have to deal with stuff directly, but you're there. And the first 4 days, from death to usually burial, there's so many people around, there's so much chaos going on, there's always things happening, so you can stand back and kind of observe. It's after that day 4, once the person has been either put to ground or the service has happened or whatever, that's when things really start to have that push-pull. And that's what I'm feeling is you're dealing with the after effect of an event, because something has ended, something new is beginning, and you're the transition team. So you have to be the one, Air, and you know, this is general reading, so take what works, but you're the one who kind of has to be the middleman for a while, at least for this week. And that's not always easy, but you have the strength to deal with it. You have the ability to shift your perspective, the Hanged Man energy, so you can see things from alternative viewpoints, and that's allowing you to find that balance again. And because you do have the Emperor and Mars coming in, you have the strength to deal with people's personalities. Well, I don't think that can be that way. Let's just take a minute here and see what's going on. This is why this is happening. This is your view. Is there a way we can work this together? That's the energy that you're working with this week, Air, which is good in a lot of ways, but it's also a little bit of a stressful situation. So stay grounded as you go through this week, because you might need it. It's what it's feeling. Good things are happening, but you're kind of in the middle of stuff right now. Let's take a peek at our water family. And water carries the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all of our fishies out there. And we're starting you off, water, with Berkana, which is the rune of birth. Color is dark green. Tarot association is the Empress. And your astrology is Virgo, so you're working with a little bit of fire. It's interesting because fire was working with earth dominant, but water secondary. Air is the balance of everything, and water starting off working with water and earth. So this could be interesting. Renewal, promise of new beginnings, new growth, birth, family, and home. Water. This is a good time for a project you're working on to start again. If it's something that you've been doing for a while, is there a way you can look at it in a fresh perspective and shift it? If you've only done, let's say, in-person readings, or you've only done in-person shows, well, why not do something online? Maybe try a different show. Maybe see if you can I just lost the word, where you have someone else sell it, commission something at a store. There's a lot of ways for you to shift and change. There's also the possibility of a new pregnancy coming in this week, or it could be an adoption of a child or a pet or something along those lines. But there is this energy of new stuff is happening, new stuff's coming in, new creations are occurring. So water is in a really good spot starting off. We'll see where the other rune goes, but for now, it's looking good. Your second rune is the Manaz rune, which is the rune of man. Color is deep red. Tarot association is the Magician. And astrology is Jupiter, so still working a little bit with water here, but have some fire coming in. Humankind, wisdom held in the body, the mind and body working together, knowledge, memory, interdependence of the masculine and feminine within. So you're finding a balance as well. That's interesting. This has been a common theme for the runes recently, is balance. But with this one, you're being led to start something new. There's a new birth occurring. There's a new creation happening. And that may trigger this need to find a new balance. Whatever this new energy that's coming in for water, it's saying this is going to be great. It's going to be amazing. But you're going to have to readdress a few things. You have to find a new balance. If it's a pregnancy, you might have to figure out how that's going to work out. If it's bringing a new pet into the house, it's figuring out how to pet-proof the lower parts of your house, unless it's a cat, and then you have to pet-proof the whole thing. And you also have this new promotion energy that comes in with a new birth, and how is that going to reflect into your life? There is a lot of movement here for you, but it's the kind of movement where you kind of started it. The other elements I'm feeling, they have movement as well, but theirs is more of the logical next steps. Things are, basically they got the ball rolling and now the universe is taken over. But for water, this is stuff that you're making these decisions and you're making these choices. You're bringing in this new creation, and it's also saying, okay, you've done that. Now you have to readdress the situation, rebalance everything, because you have this new frequency that's adjusting. And it could be a spiritual aspect as well, where you have up-leveled, where you may have shifted a timeline, you may have changed a frequency that you live with, and when that happens, it can throw you off a little bit. You might start hearing the angels more, you might start seeing things a little bit more clearly, and that can throw you off a little for a day or two, or a couple of weeks, depending on the person. So be aware that it's a lot of different things that are new, and it's a call to stay grounded, stay balanced as this transition is occurring. So overall, the one thing that I can hear clearly through this whole thing is there's a lot of movement this week. There's a lot of shifting and changing. It's about a 50-50 margin. Half of it is spiritual, half of it is physical. But this is what is happening. There's some new beginning energy, which there's not a lot of that, but there is some new beginnings happening. A lot of this is shifting from one gear into the next. Like, you've been trucking along at this level, now it's time to move up. And there's also this energy of a completed project, a pause to recollect, and then moving forward again. So see how that works out for everybody this week. Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and impressions. And I will see you all in the next video.